Okay, so today I'd like to talk about a story that is absolutely blowing up on the internet at the moment, and that is Cristiano Ronaldo's interview with Piers Morgan. I can't believe he actually went and did an interview with Piers Morgan of all damn people, but we'll leave that for another day. But apparently this explosive interview, it's not the entire interview, apparently that's being released on Wednesday or Thursday of this week, if I'm not mistaken. It really is just a couple of hot takes, quite a few quotes that were made. There is a 2-minute clip that is going around the internet that so many people are reacting to, which I will react to as well. And the reason I'm reacting to this is purely because it involves one of my football idols. Now, I do not subscribe to the idea of lionizing another human being, but I do take my hat off for athletes and people that achieve what they achieve in their lifetimes, and Ronaldo's one of those that has achieved so much in his lifetime. He's been an inspiration to children, inspiration to anybody who absolutely loves football. I love him as a person, I love him as a character, I love him as a footballer, but I do have my views on this entire situation as well. And because I'm Portuguese and he's from Portugal, obviously there's an affinity there, which is like a Portuguese bloodline type vibe, even though I know he's from Madeira, but it's the same thing really. But anyway, let's just go through this little hot take and see what he said, and then I will give my position on this right after that. Let's go.
Trying to force you out.
Yes, not only the coach, but the other 2 or 3 guys there around the club.
At the senior executive level.
Yes, that I felt betrayed.
And you think they're trying to get rid of you?
Honestly, I shouldn't say that, I don't know, but listen, I don't care, people should listen the truth. Yes, I feel betrayed, and I felt that some people that don't want me here, not only this year, but last year too. I don't know what's going on, but since the Sir Alex Ferguson left, I saw not evolution in the club. The progress was zero. For example, you have an interesting point that how the club as Manchester United, after Ole, they bring sport directive Ralph Rangnick, which is something that nobody understands. This guy is not even a coach. A bigger club like Manchester United bring sport directive, surprised not only me, but all the world. Nothing changed. Surprisingly, not only the pool, the jacuzzi, even the gym. Even some points, the technology, the kitchen, the chefs, which is I appreciate, lovely persons. They stop in a time which it surprised me a lot. I thought I will see different things, as I mentioned before, technology, infrastructure. But unfortunately, we see many things that I'm used to see when I was 20, 21, 23. So surprised me a lot.
Okay, so let's begin here. Clearly, Cristiano Ronaldo's unhappy. I think ever since he went to Man United the second time around, I think it sort of started. I think the whole nostalgia of all of it and the novelty of all of it when he arrived there and him being home was great for him. And then it kind of got into the swing of it, and the club really wasn't where it should have been. And it's been struggling for a while, which you should have known, by the way. I mean, Man United has been struggling for a while. They're in this phase of trying to develop and trying to change, and it's very hard to get players to gel. It takes a really good manager with a good recipe, with a good pool of players to actually make a team gel, and you can go through years of trying to get that right. It's a very complex thing. So after being in the club for a bit, it seems like it started okay, but then as you could see, he very quickly started becoming very unhappy with the club. I also feel that his performance as a player, as much as I love him and as much as he can say that he's a 37-year-old that's different to other 37-year-olds, at the end of the day, that's not true. He's 37, he's past his peak, and I think he's also struggling to come to terms with that. Now, a player like that, there is a narcissistic like sort of element to a player like that, who the majority of things have to be about him. He wouldn't be a player like that if he didn't have that narcissistic temperament, that everything has to be about him. He has to consistently achieve, always hit greater heights, hyper competitive guy. So I can kind of understand when he starts feeling stagnant. He kind of feels like trapped because he keeps wanting to break that glass ceiling. I get that at the end of the day. But I kind of feel like, you know, he was stuck between a rock and a hard place, in the sense that he himself wasn't performing well, and at the same time the team is going through all of these adjustments and changes. And I mean, make no mistake, you know, all of these sort of corporates and these football corporates and elites that run these clubs, I'm sure there's an element of corruption over there. I'm sure there's an element of capitalistic ego that you know, that goes on in the club, where they're not doing what they should be doing, and you know, they are the last word on absolutely everything, and it's all about the money. And I get that, and they kind of might have, you know, started to look away from the true development, like you were saying, in terms of like the technology staying the same, and you know, the bathrooms and things staying the same. That I can completely agree with. I mean, that's something that the club and the manager should be adapting and should be changing and updating, and if they're not doing it, that is completely wrong. I just feel that as a player of his stature, as much as I love him and as much as I feel you know, this like countryman attachment to him, I do feel a player of his stature could have handled this a little bit more decently, because at the end of the day, it is a club. At the end of the day, you are employed by that club for a ginormous amount of money per week. I think his salary is on what, £500,000 a week? There or thereabout, plus or minus £500,000 a week. I think as an employer of the club, I think those kind of things, I think the dirty laundry should be kept in the club and should be handled privately. I think a lot of what he said could possibly be contractual breaches that he's now went and breached. And I think at the stage that he's at, I don't particularly think he cares too much. I think Ronaldo's got enough money where if like they don't pay him out the rest of his contract, he doesn't really give a shit. He's worth hundreds of millions of pounds or euros or whatever it is. But I also feel that, you know, he has been going through a bit of a tough time lately. He lost his son just a few months ago, which is very sad. But he came back to training pretty quickly after that. And given all of that, I do feel that it is time for Ronaldo to sort of step back. I think he's pretty much done at Man United now. I think anybody that comes out and, you know, does an interview with someone like Piers Morgan, who literally sort of loves the drama and loves, you know, to cause the chaos and theatre around every single topic. I'm surprised he actually let him talk for 2 minutes without interrupting him, because that's what Piers Morgan always does. He just interrupts people all of the time. But I just think he didn't handle it in a classy manner. I also believe that, you know, he's in a stage of his life where he's not coming to terms with the fact that he is an aging player, that he's not at his best anymore. He is not what he was when he was there at Man United the first time. He thinks that he can play in that position more specifically as a striker at the age of 37, and you can just see it's not happening. It can't happen. You're just not there. You can even see by his performance, he doesn't have that great. And I mean, for a player who's achieved what he's achieved, he's pretty much got everything. He's not, I would say there's an element of hunger that doesn't exist anymore, because you have achieved and won everything and broken every single record. So you're not going to go for that 50-50 ball, and you're not going to, you know, push as hard as you pushed when you were younger. And that's a natural thing. And for him to say that, oh no, he would do it, he's doing it just like he did he's in denial. He's fooling himself. But like I said, as much as I love Ronaldo, I do believe that, him going against the institution, going against the club, like that is a bit disrespectful. I don't think that he should have done this. I don't think he should be marred by negativity when he's a week away from the World Cup as well. There's going to be so much negativity surrounding Ronaldo now around the World Cup. It's going to affect his psyche. It's going to affect the Portuguese side. Specifically, two of his teammates play in the Portuguese side as well, which is Bruno Fernandes and Della. I think this is very well timed. I think it's very badly timed. I think it's distasteful in a way. I think it's going to leave many people's. It's going to leave a sour taste in many people's mouths. I think it's a slap in the face to a lot of the fans as well. Where you come out and you fire shots in all directions, specifically at legends of the club like Rooney and things like that. Whatever it is, I think this could have been sorted and handled in a private capacity, in a private manner. And at the very least, an interview could have been done once he has exited the club and a bit of time has passed, and then he could go and say how he felt at the club. But right now, I kind of feel like this was a bit of a cheap shot from Ronaldo, and I'm trying to be as objective as possible. I mean, I have my biases with Ronaldo because I absolutely love him, but I'm also a very conservative individual who believes that there's a right time and there's a right way to do things, and to play on these activism type thing. I cannot stand that kind of thing. And let's be honest, Ronaldo does do most of what he does for himself, right? He does to push his career forward, to push himself forward. An element of being a narcissist is to do absolutely everything for yourself. That is what being a narcissist is, and that is what he is, and I feel that he has to be that in order to be a player like that. But I think there is a line that you don't cross, and I think now that he's crossed it, I think it's over for him, and I think he knows it's over for him. I don't think he cares too much that he probably won't play another game for Man United, and I kind of feel that he probably will lose. He'll leave sooner than later. He's set to leave in January, but I think he'll leave even before then. But I think it's going to affect the World Cup as well. I think he's going to try and force it to try and prove something, and it's not going to go well for him, and he's going to get frustrated. And I think it's going to affect the Portuguese team as well, which is what saddens me most. I just don't think it needed all of this. I don't think it needed all of this. I think it's a very disappointing thing to see. And my final thoughts over here is I think he will always be a legend. He'll always be a legend in my eyes. He'll always be a legend in millions of people's eyes. But I think he also needs to understand that his time is up. I think his time is done. He's not the player he used to be. He's not like a Messi who, you can sort of slip back into a midfield and play those visionary passes and balls. And so Ronaldo's really been more about the attack and the goals, and a very forward pacey player, which he is obviously not at the moment. And I don't think he could fall back into like a position like Messi. And I kind of feel that, I think it would be better for all if Ronaldo does leave Man United and Man United goes their own way and Ronaldo goes his own way, and we can wrap this up. I think he's already marred by negativity. I think that there's already too much that is now affecting his legacy. I think this is what he'll be remembered for, and not for the brilliant record-breaking character that he was. Because people love to, sort of harp on the negative. And I honestly think if you could just wrap this up as quickly and as cleanly as possible, it would probably be better. But anyway, we will do a full reaction to the full interview, and then I'll give you my thoughts on each part of that interview. It's so sad to see. It's sad to see Ronaldo sort of going out like this. It's really sad to see that. But I guess this is just how it is. Anyway, we'll wait for the interview. You guys let me know what you think down below. I don't want to keep talking forever. I love you all. Please stay safe, please stay healthy. I'll catch you in the next one.